Okay, welcome everyone. We're a little sparse today, but some people's sickness, it's if you worked a long shift and you're just getting up, and things do happen. Those are understandable. If there's nothing that's keeping you from not being here and you choose not to be, well, maybe you should examine your motives. Fail not to assemble yourself, right? So, Pastor asked me to speak for a couple weeks here about faith.
Talk about
what is it? Anybody want to venture an opinion?
I don't know the verse.
Faith.
What's the verse?
All right. Well,
Believe
there,
things that are not seen.
there can be several kinds, right? We might have faith that the sun's going to come up tomorrow morning,
right.
which is pretty much guaranteed. It is theoretically possible through physics that it won't, but most likely it will. So that's not really very much of a stretch of faith, is it?
I know it.
It's probably going to happen.
I'm on
We have faith in gravity,
Yes, sir.
that we're not going to float off into space, and if we fall off of something, it's probably going to hurt, and hopefully it didn't fall too far, or it's going to be a lot more than hurt, isn't it?
All right.
But it can and should and will really go a lot further
Oh, yeah.
than that.
Oh, yes.
Right? If we're here, then, kind of, unless we're looking at it as a social club, we're assuming here and have faith that there is a real God who is listening.
Now,
Because if not, we might as well go home.
bye-bye.
Right? If he's not real, or he's not here, or he's not listening,
Well,
or any of the above,
bye-bye.
then what are we here for?
Come on now.
Really no reason at all.
Bye, Jesus.
Right? So take that and move it even into a larger realm.
All right.
Some people say, and they claim, that they're dedicated atheists.
Come on.
There is no God.
There is no God.
Well, I've heard that there is no atheist in a foxhole or a plane crash.
Talk about it.
Right?
Talk about it.
Maybe he didn't believe in God for 50 years, but when that plane is pointing nose down and all you're seeing is dirt getting bigger and bigger, oh my God, guess what? You just got faith.
Talk about it.
Now, is that going to do any good for you when dirt and aluminum meet?
Talk about it.
And some of those folk
Probably.
go upwards because they believed before the crash,
Talk about it.
or the incoming artillery shell that you hear wobbling and screaming towards you, and you look up and you go, oh yeah, that one ain't gonna miss. That's coming right for me.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's probably too late for those people, isn't it? But that's between them, really, and God. It's not my judgment
Come
to
on.
say whether they're going to make it or whether they're not.
Well,
All we've got is what the Word says.
come on.
So, backing that up and getting away from a plane crash, they're like, you're stupid.
Come on.
I had somebody tell me that. Said, you're stupid. I was like, how so? They're like, how do you have faith in something you can't see and you're reading a book full of tales and fables? There's no proof. There's no backing for this. You're supposed to be an intelligent man.
Uh-huh.
This is really what somebody told me. I said, okay. And he says, well, I think you're an intelligent man. All right. Thanks, Tom. But I can't understand past all of that. I see what you do here. You fix computers and all this stuff, and wiring and all these things that we have to build. And you get all of that done. So obviously you're pretty smart. How can you be smart enough not to figure out that all of this is a ridiculous lie? Okay. Ridiculous lies. Wow. Okay. Well, can I pick him up? You can't see God. It's been 2,000 years since somebody could punch a finger into him, right? Said, Thomas, right? Look, I got a hole here and another hole here. Thrust your finger into my side. See where the spear went. Okay, so you can't see him. Can't find him on the internet. Oh, directly at least, anyway, right?
Yeah.
We don't have his phone number speed dial in our little portable computers, I guess, really these days, right? They're not really phones anymore, are they?
He's not on LinkedIn.
And he doesn't have a 800 hotline.
Well, he does.
No.
It's called the Bible.
Well, yeah, okay. So somewhat, yeah. He doesn't have a actual physical direct 800 hotline. So we can't call him. We can't see him. We don't know really in a physical sense, where is he? He says heaven exists, okay, but where? Is it inside of our universe? Is it outside of our universe? Okay, yeah, we're going to get metaphysical now, right? Okay. So you have to just be okay with the explanation. You have to accept what looks like unacceptable.
Well,
That is faith.
Right.
Something you can't put on a scale, something you can't measure with a laser distancer,
all right.
right? Something you can't put microcalipers on and measure. It's not a crankshaft, and it's not 3.1714 on the main journals. I can't measure it. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. You have to just accept it exists.
Yes.
And some people would tell you that you're absolutely nuts. Okay. I mean, if you look at a pure science perspective, that is insanity, isn't it? You're saying something that absolutely, you're claiming 100% exists, but cannot be measured in any particular way. Most of us have not heard him speak directly. Some people sometimes, you will get it inaudible. But what would somebody else say? Oh, he was drunk. He was high. He bashed his head. He had too much pizza at 1 a.m. and went to bed. You really think you heard from a God?
I know.
You can't quantify that either, can you? You really can't. You can believe it happened. You can show the evidence of what he spoke to you and say, okay, look, I was told a week before this happened that this was going to be. Okay, well, that could be a little hard for an atheist to explain because you just predicted the future. How? That one might get a little twitchy. It's like, okay, how can you down that one? It'd be tough, right? But still, overall, most of us don't hear an audible voice. But we still have to accept he's there.
I know.
So why are we crazy enough to think that this is legit?
All right.
Where's our reasoning?
I do.
Well, glad you asked. There are plenty of biblical examples, which I'm going to hit some of these. But I bet that a lot of us can give their own examples.
Amen.
And I'll throw out one, okay? This was about 8 years back now. Yeah, I think that'd be about right. Single father, big payments for the kids, don't have much money, credit's pretty crap, nothing really in the bank, car's got major issues. I'm like, I have to get another set of wheels. Well, reality would tell me, yeah, dude, you're going to be driving a Hoopty. That's going to be the best car you can hope to have. Because if you're lucky, you go to one of those buy here, pay here things, and you get a 167,000 mile car, and you're like, I hope this thing holds together long enough to get from the lot back to my house. And after that, who knows? So I go to a dealer near me, and they're pretty much how dealers are. It's like, ooh, fresh meat, and the wolves come running out. It's like, all right, come on in there, son. I got a car for you. Let's talk. You know how the greasy guy right now. Actually, this guy was pretty cool. He wasn't really like that. Actually, I gotta be fair here. He was decent. He was decent. And I'm kind of poking around a lot, and he's like, well, what are you looking for? And at the time I was like, well, probably some type of a sedan, because the kids were still I think they were out of car seats by then, but still not, the height they are now, which is taller than me. Not fair. So I needed something that had some room, right? And so I'm poking around the lot, and I'm like, I don't really like that one, I don't like that one over there, I can't afford. See one on the showroom floor. It was this beautiful Regal Turbo, and it was way outside my price range. I'm like, man, I only wish 270 horsepower. Hoorah! And then I see this Chevy Cruze, 2LTRS model. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. And I go look at it, and I'm like, I start walking away. The guy goes, why are you walking away? I said, because that ain't going to be my car. You can't do this. You can't do this. He's like, yeah, you know what? Dare me. He said, I think I can do this for you. I was like, well, you ain't seen my credit yet. He's like, all right, well, we get a lot of people come in that their credit's not that great. Okay. So he disappears for about a half an hour, and I guess between running his computer and I got to go talk to the manager. You know how that one goes, right? Run back and forth 12 times. He didn't do the 12 times thing. That was nice because that gets really old very, very fast.
Yeah.
So whatever it was, like half hour, 40 minutes later, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, I'm skunked. As soon as he sees what those numbers look like, he's gonna go, yeah, I'll take you over to the auction, bud. We'll see what we can find for you over there. He comes out and lays a pile of paper in front of me. He says, can you live with that number? I looked at it and I said, yeah, I can live with that number. He goes, well, that Chevy's yours. I was like, get the blank out of here. There ain't no way. So that thing is nice. It had like 47,000 miles. It looked new. It was a fleet car, so it was very well maintained. They took care of it. Because some of you buy commercial cars, some of them have the absolute living, what beat out of them, but it depends on what company they belong to and what they were doing. But this one was very, very good, and it's like there ain't no way. But he's like, yeah, way, we're done. Start signing. You get a hand cramp. He's got to sign like 18 places, and initial 47, and he's like, well, how much can you put down? So I'm doing a quick calculation in my head and thinking about what bank balance, and we worked it out, and I went home with a car that day.
Bless.
Now my face said, forget it, it ain't ever going to happen. Especially with that one. It was a nice looking car. Karen remembers it.
I like that.
That was the first vehicle that I owned that she remembered. And she had told me one of the things that she thought was pretty cool when we were first hanging out and going around, going places. She said, this is a really nice car. It ain't a Lexus, but it was sweet. It was clean. It ran good. It was a nice car. I liked it. It got me back and forth to Maine several times. No troubles at all. It was a good vehicle. So, how? Man would have said, you're crazy. It ain't going to happen. Your credit's crap. You don't have a huge down payment sitting in the bank that you're going to make this happen. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have. But it did. Because God stepped in and said, well, you know what? I know you're going to use that car not only to go to work, but you're going to do other things with it. Which I did. People needed rides, they got rides. So there is something that should never have happened, that shouldn't be explainable. That's faith.
Amen. Nice. Good story. Thank you.
So what does the Bible have to say about these things? Well, it has a lot to say about it, actually. In Deuteronomy, it's written, Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxed fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Sounds like he's getting a blessing, isn't he? He doesn't mean fatness like the guy's 400 pounds, all right? It's not what he's saying. He's not saying this dude's massively overweight. He's saying you've gotten things that you didn't deserve. Unmerited grace. Then he forsook God which made him and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. Okay, so he gave Jehovah the middle finger. if you want to be really blunt. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. And here comes the big middle finger. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed to devils, not to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. That would have been like me after getting that nice car and going, yeah, see what I did? See, this was my hard work and all those years, and I deserved this car.
I know.
Forgetting at all who really did for me. That's exactly what you see going on in this story. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. Froward is disobedient, reckless, just wantonly, And basically what's going on past these four walls.
Yes. With our team today.
Yeah. If she looks good, go home with her. If he looks good, go home with him. What's the matter? Like the pastor likes to say, a little bump and grind, right? Or how about just a little up the vein there? It's like, oh wow, did that feel good? Let me do that again. Or a little, you know what I'm talking about? Some nose candy, right? Or the 40s.
Well,
What's wrong with that? They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn to the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischief upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. Who would like to have 21 to 23 pronounced on them?
No, thank you.
Who wants to be in that group there where he's burning the lowest hell, destroying mountains,
I know.
and spending his arrows?
No, thank you.
Ouch. Sounds to me like they made a really, really bad turn at Albuquerque. Have faith and don't provoke him. Habakkuk, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by their own ego. No, their own mighty hand.
No, sir.
Their own big fist.
Nope.
By his faith.
Yes. Yes.
The vision is not yet, but it's for an appointed time. Oh, really? What did it say in one of the other scriptures? It said, since what? Since the fathers have fallen asleep, everybody's like, oh, all right. So you keep saying there's going to be this judgment, eh? Where?
Where?
I ain't seen your God yet.
Yep.
Where's the brimstone? Where's the fire? You said you promised wars and rumors of wars. You promised earthquakes. You promised floods. You promised famines. Have we not seen all of those?
Yes, we have.
And that's in Matthew, I believe it is. I think it's in Matthew. It's all right. You got the idea.
Yep.
Speaking of Matthew. All right, so now we kind of saw the downside here, didn't we? A little bit. That was not so great, right? The provoked me to anger with vanity, move them to jealousy with those who are not a people, provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. A fire is kindled in my anger. Would you think that Jehovah ain't happy? Those are strong words.
Yes.
They would be strong words that would probably back us up a few feet if it was just anybody saying them. Unless, you know, the guy is so small, you know you're going to take him. Little pipsqueak, what are you doing? Shut up. But we're pretty sure and know of a certainty that our arms are too short to box with God. So if this is God in his anger and kindling, do we want to be there? No.
I know.
No, we don't. Matthew says in 8, and when Jesus was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. Centurion. They had plenty of centurions in the Jewish army, didn't they?
Not in the Jewish army.
Nope. This guy is not Jewish. He's a centurion, he's a Roman. What did we know about Rome? They hated Rome because Rome had them under the boot, right? They were a very oppressive. Yeah, we know a lot about what they were doing. All right, they were a foreign invasion. They had taken over the country and they were occupying. And they didn't really get very much say about it because if you stuck your head up like whack-a-mole, one of those big old Roman swords would cut it right off. So what's going on here? We've got an infidel, a heathen, who says, Jesus, I need your help. Jesus said unto him, I will come and heal him. Wow. So now we're messing with infidels? Jesus, don't you know he's a heathen? You don't talk to him. We're going to the Jews, aren't we? The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy thou should even come under my roof. But speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers unto me, and I say to this man, say to this man, go, and he goeth. To another, come, and he cometh. And to my servant, do this, and he doeth it. So, yeah, he's an infidel. According to them, he's a heathen. As are we. Or as we were before we were adopted in, right? But he's used to giving orders. He says, you do this, you go. Do that, you go. He's a centurion. We think of a century as 100, right? That's kind of, you know, what the numeric thing, right? Well, that wasn't really actually correct for them. It varied depending on the size of the army unit that they were commanding. It could have been 70-ish. It also could have been over 100. So that didn't always mean it was exactly 100 men, but that position, centurion, he had a fair amount of people under him. You know, it wasn't just 4 or 5 that he was pushing around. He's a guy of authority. You know, he wasn't a lightweight. And look at him basically groveling. But having faith during that groveling. But what he says, I'm not even worthy for you to show up. Don't even. Please. All you have to do is, and I know it'll work. The natural man would say that this guy's purely insane, wouldn't he? I mean, you might believe, maybe that if he came over and laid a hand on the guy, he recovers. He didn't even get anywhere near him. I mean, yeah, we got telehealth and stuff like that, but if you need a surgery, your surgeon is not 500 miles away, is he? He's there cutting you. Unless you're doing one of those robot things. Yeah, that's possible, but that's a whole other story. You get what I'm saying. The surgeon's usually in the room with you. He's saying, I have such faith that I believe not only am I not worthy for you to come to my house, but you can do it tele-remote. Apparently that made somewhat of an impact on Jesus himself. Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to them that followed, verily, I say to you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in my own people, not in Israel. No. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and west, and sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Jesus said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done to thee. And his servant was healed 2 weeks later. The following day, the self-same hour. Now, obviously, like I said, they didn't have cell phones or FaceTime. But my thought, my belief here, is that as he was speaking, have I not seen faith as great as this? That guy was already taken care of. He was fixed. And took the time, for the centurion to be able to travel back and find out. And be like, well, about what time did that happen? It was like, yeah, it's about the time I was talking to him. Wow. Yeah, it was 4 minutes past the arm here. Time actually was a little bit further in the future here. I haven't gotten to that one, right? So. How many of us would have that level of faith? That's big. Matthew thought it was so big he bothered to write it down.
Yeah.
I mean, we know for sure that a whole bunch of stuff happened that never did get officially recorded, because he said if he wrote down everything there wouldn't be space on our planet to contain all the books.
Right.
Right? That's in the scripture. That's not me. That's them. That's him, the man, saying there would be that many books. But Matthew thought this was important and wrote it down. And in 9, and he entered into a ship and passed over and came into his own city. And behold, they brought to him a man sick of the palsy, lying on a bed. And Jesus, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer. Thy sins be forgiven thee. Could he have opened up a bigger can of ugly? He didn't say, I'm going to fix your problem. He didn't say you're going to be healed. Thy sins be forgiven thee. Who has the authority to do that?
Only God.
Only God.
Right.
Which did not make him popular in certain quarters. And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man blasphemes. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, of course knowing all thoughts, right? Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, Wherefore think ye evil in your hearts? For whether it is easier to say, Thy sin be forgiven,
Right.
or to say, Arise and walk. But that ye may know, the Son of Man hath power on earth to forgive sin. Then says he to the sick of the palsy, Arise, take up thy bed, and go unto thy house. And he arose and departed to his house. The multitude saw it, they marveled and glorified God, which had given such power to men. Well, what if he told him your sins were forgiven and sent him away and he was still lame? Would anybody have been excited?
Oh,
Should have been.
Said, Thy sin's forgiven. As far as that leg, that kind of stinks. Too bad, pal. Sorry about your luck. It sucks. See you next week. He was messed up for a while here, right? I mean, it wasn't just something that just happened to him the day before. He tripped and fell into a buzzsaw, and it's like, can you fix this? This was something he suffered with for a while. And he's like, wow, it'd really be great if I didn't have this. His faith made him whole. A little while longer, while he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler and worshipped him, saying, My daughter is even now dead, but come and lay thy hand upon her, and she shall live. Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. All right, now, here we're going to get a 3-for-1. You think it's pretty cool. You go down to Subway, and they're having what is it, BOGO, right? Buy one, get one, yeah? We're going to get a triple. This is a triple header right here. Look at this. Jesus arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. Behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years. came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. That 12 thing kind of shows up a while from here, time to time, doesn't it? 7, 40, and 12 seem to be pretty common. Oh, and 3, of course. Right? 12 years. She said within herself, if I may but touch his garment. Well, dang on, wouldn't you be wanting to talk to him? I mean, I'd be like, wow, I heard this guy is like this crazy super doctor. All he's got to do is just like, and everything gets fixed. Wouldn't you want to see him face to face? Ask for something and then go, thank you, when it worked?
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm not even worthy for that. I'll crawl between these people's feet, push them out of the way. If I can just get over close enough that I can get the Superman's cape, I will be good. That is a lot of faith. If I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. Jesus turned him about, and when he saw him, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that very hour. Now, one of the other stories says that he mentioned, who was it that just touched me? All right? This would be like being in the middle of a mosh pit and going, who just bumped me? Right? I mean, there's, what, hundreds, thousands of people here. It's just insanity, right? The apostles are with him, and he goes, somebody just touched me. I'm figuring probably see Peter going, Jesus, really? Come on. What? Say? Somebody touch you? Yes, they've been doing that all day. What's wrong with you? Do you not see everybody around you? No, this was different. Somebody touched me and got power from me to her. Something different happened. And he knew it. Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. And the woman was made whole from that very hour. Now, so like I said, this is a BOGO 3-for-1 here, right? Jesus came to the ruler's house and saw the minstrels and the people making a noise. He said unto them, give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed at him. Sleeping, huh? How good is this guy if he can't tell dead from sleeping? No. Not so great, huh? Where'd we get this guy from? And the people were put forth. He went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose. And the fame hereof went abroad into all that land. You heard a foot in the mouth, right? You heard of eating crow. Well, I hope they got that with a little bit of salt and pepper and a side of taters and peas, because they had to eat some crow. They're laughing at him going, you're an idiot. You can't tell between sleeping and dead? Oh wait, she's not dead. How can that be? Well, it could be because he created the universe. You don't think he can fix one little girl? And the fame thereof went abroad. When Jesus departed thence, 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, thou son of David, have mercy on us. Here comes number 3. When he was coming to the house, the blind men came to him and said, came to him, and Jesus said to them, believe ye I am able to do this? They said unto him, yea, Lord. And touched he their eyes, saying, according to your faith, be it unto you. What do you suppose would have happened if they said no? Said when he went to his own land, he was not accepted, right? A prophet in his own land has no respect. No respect at all. Anybody old enough to remember that one? Okay, Rodney. Well, if they hadn't believed, would he have fixed their eyes? I mean, their faith wouldn't be required to stop that. He's the creator of the universe. He can do anything he wants. But if they had no faith, what would he do? Probably walked on, right? Would have been like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. You go find your witch doctor, and we'll see what he can do for you. And he'll put some kind of wacky stuff in your eyeball and see if you can fix your blindness. Or you can have faith that I can do it.
Wow.
And they said, yea, Lord, we believe. We're tired of being blind. I want to see where I'm going. Walking into trees is getting real old. And their eyes were open, and Jesus straightly charged them, saying, see, no man know it. Well, they might have been blind, but apparently their ears weren't that great either. When they were departed, they spread abroad his fame in all that country, even though he told them, please don't. How could you not want to tell everybody when you're like, you know, and all of a sudden you're like, cool. That's what a blue sky looks like? I don't know what the color blue is, but okay. How about that? And that's a green tree. That's grass. Wow. I know it felt like a carpet, but I never saw it. It's neat. And they just couldn't hold back. They had to tell everybody. Yeah, okay, one more. And Jesus went thence and departed to the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievous, vexed with a devil. He answered her not a word. His disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cries after us. She wouldn't leave. He, of course, already knew what was going to happen, but the disciples are getting very annoyed. Can you shut her up? All she does is bother us and follow us and bother us more and pull on my leg and yank on my cloak. Can you come help me? No. He was testing. He answered and said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You're not Jewish. That's what he's saying. You're not Jewish. Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. He answered and said, it's not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs. So, not only did you say that you're not Jewish, but he insulted her highly.
That was harsh.
Hey, it could have been at least nice to say, I'm sorry, I'm only working my own people today. Could have, right? That would have been the nicer thing to do. Spare the feelings a little. Well, he didn't do that. He pulled out the dagger and went straight for the heart here, didn't he? Dog. Call me a dog. Okay. So the prophet just called me a dog. A lot of us probably would have been pretty mad. And you would think rightfully so. She said, of a truth, Lord, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Good answer. And Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour, just like the centurion's servant. Yeah. She didn't have to go back to Coastal General. Didn't sit in the emergency room all day waiting for somebody to come have a look. You know how that goes. Same hour. Done. Great is thy faith. Why was her faith so great? She's not a Jew. The master of the universe just called her a dog. Now she could have got all indignant and went, well, who does he think he is? He gonna judge me? I'm a dog? And walk off. And her daughter would still be dead. Wouldn't she? But she sucked it up and said, you know what? Okay, yeah, he's gonna insult me. All right, yeah, I'm true. I'm not Jewish. All right, I guess I had that one coming. But yet we take the crumbs. And he was impressed. He said, wow, she didn't get attitude. She didn't flip me off. She didn't use language. She said, okay. Yeah. All right. Call me dog. I'm a dog. I'll take it, and I'll give my answer. Yet I'll take the crumbs. And he said that she had great faith because of that and did what she requested. That's big. We'll pick this up next week because I see that my time is out. So thank you all for your attention, and I hope that this gives you something maybe to, over the next week, consider. Maybe go back if you want to reread a few of these, or even just replay the video. Think about that. What does faith mean to you? And do you think that you have any, or do you think you have enough, or what your relationship and position is right now? We can always use a little searching, self-examination.